Hey everybody, tonight we're debating whether or not Islam is true, and we are starting right now with Mango T's opening statement. Thanks so much for being with us, Mango. The floor is all yours.
Thank you, James, and thank you, Apostate Prophet, for accepting this debate. Um, Islam is true, and Apostate Prophet knows it's true. He knows Islam is true deep down in his heart. And there are 7 ways to know that Islam is the complete and perfect truth for all mankind. Number 1, Islam is the same message of all prophets. From the first human being, Prophet Adam, to the last prophet, Muhammad, the message to mankind has not changed. Worship God, the only true God, and follow his prophets' examples. Every prophet was sent by God to mankind to deliver a simple message that God is one. In the Bible, Mark 12:29, Jesus says, "Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one Lord." Islam shares the same sentiment. Islam is the same message of all prophets that have come in the past. Number 2, the Quran is the only holy book that has never been changed by a man. Allah promises us in the Quran that indeed it is we who sent down the Quran, and indeed we will be its guardian. The Quran was written down during the life and times of the Prophet Muhammad. Not only did that ensure its survival after the Prophet's life, the Quran was also memorized by hundreds and thousands of people, and it was spread word for word throughout the world. Every word, every letter, and even every pause of the Quran has been passed down and remains the same till this day, over 1,400 years after its revelation. That's amazing. Number 3, Islam promotes the use of logic. It promotes the use of reason. It promotes the use of knowledge. Mankind was given logic. It was given intellect for a reason. God would never ask us to set it aside when it comes to faith and belief in him. Without the use of our intellect, faith is rendered weak. God knows that man needs proof in order to have deeper faith. Even Abraham asked God to give him a sign so his faith could be firm. And God did so through the birds. Abraham trained and called back to himself after their death. God also provides such proof in Islam. The Quran presents reasoning and encourages people. It encourages people. Let me just repeat that for a third time. It encourages people to think about the sign of creation and the signs of the Quran. This is an example. Islam promotes the use of logic. It promotes the use of reason. Number 4, scientific proof. There are several scientific proofs in the Quran. It's absolutely amazing. Some of the proofs of Islam are only now being discovered as humankind makes scientific discoveries. Some of these scientific proofs include, number 1, the seas don't mingle with one another. So in the Quran, it talks about how he released the 2 seas meeting side by side. Between them is a barrier, so neither of them transgresses. Now, this is in the Quran, chapter 55, verse number 19 to 20. Today, this effect or phenomena is called the Holocene phenomenon, and it was discovered only in the late 19th century at the very earliest. That is 13 centuries after the revelation in the Quran. So the Quran revealed this scientific proof 13 centuries earlier. Until then, it was believed that the seas were just one homogeneous, free-flowing body. Because of the physical force called surface tension, the waters of neighboring seas do not mix, caused by the difference in the density of their waters. Surface tension prevents them from mingling with one another, just as if a thin wall were between them. And this is described in the Quran, which, by the way, was revealed 14 centuries ago. The second scientific proof is the expansion of the universe. And the heaven we constructed with strength. And indeed, we are expander. And this is in Quran chapter 51, verse 47. At the beginning of the 20th century, the only view in the scientific community was that the universe was fixed in size and infinite in existence. However, modern research has revealed that the universe, in fact, had a beginning and that it constantly expands. This was revealed 14 centuries ago, that the universe expands, and we only found out about that in the 20th century. A fact that was explained in the Quran in a time when telescopes and similar technological advancements were not even close to being invented. How did an Arabian illiterate man know about the expansion of the universe? The third scientific proof is the function of the mountains. In the Quran, it says, "And we placed within the earth firmly set mountains, lest it should shift with them, and we made therein passes, roads, that they might be guided." Now, this verse states that mountains perform the function of preventing shocks in the earth. This fact was not known by anyone at that time the Quran was revealed. It was brought to light only recently as a result of the findings of modern geological research. The mountains play a similar role to a nail or a peg firmly holding down a tent. For example, Mount Everest, the summit of which stands approximately 9 kilometers above the surface of the earth, has a route deeper than 125 kilometers. Now, how did an illiterate Arabian know about the function of the mountains? That is an incredible scientific proof in the Quran. I can go on and on and on and on about all of the scientific proofs that the Quran has, but I won't take up too much of your time. The fifth reason or proof to why Islam is true is the Prophet is mentioned in previous revelations. The Prophet Muhammad is mentioned many times in the Old and the New Testament. In some places, his name has been translated as Comforter. Number 6, proof of Muhammad's prophethood. Every prophet came with good character and morals. The Prophet Muhammad was no exception. He was known as the trustworthy and the truthful, even to his enemies, those who opposed the message of Islam. Every prophet came with miracles, and the Prophet Muhammad, by God's permission, also performed many miracles. During his prophethood, one of his miracles was that he was allowed by God to split the moon. And we have evidence to suggest that this moon was actually split. The last hour draws near and the moon is split asunder. And if they see a sign, which is a miracle, they turn away and say, "Passing magic," for they are bent on giving it the lie, being always want to follow their own desires. This is Quran chapter 54, verses 1 to 3. Now, many people around the world also witnessed the splitting of the moon, and it was recorded in many parts of the world, predominantly in China, in India, in Argentina. And the very last point to why Islam is the truth is that the truth can only be singular, right? If one faith affirms that angels are gods themselves, another affirms that angels are demons, and yet another affirms that angels are a creation of God. All three cannot be true at the same time since they contradict each other. And this is a simple logical truth. The truth can only be singular and all else falsehood. It is true to say that we are free to believe whatever we wish to believe, but that does not make it true. Truth is singular. It does not and cannot contradict itself. God is one. His truth is singular. His prophets all came with a singular message, and the truth from their and our Lord. Therefore, Islam is true.
You got it. Thank you very much for that opening statement. And want to let you know, folks, if it's your first time here at Modern Day Debate, we are a neutral platform hosting debates on science, religion, and politics. We want you to know, no matter what walk of life you are from, we are thrilled to have you here, whether you be Christian, Muslim, atheist, you name it. We're glad that you are here. And don't forget, we have several huge upcoming debates. For example, one of them at the bottom right of your screen. Next week, Vosh and Dr. Bogardus on whether or not trans women are women. It's going to be juicy. It's going to be controversial, to say the least. So hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on future debates coming up. And with that, we're going to kick it over to AP for his opening statement. Thanks so much for being with us, AP. The floor is all yours.
Thank you so much, James. Thank you, Mango. I guess I will start now. With all due respect, Mango, that was a lot of garbage that I just heard. It was complete nonsense. First off, I don't inherently deep inside know that Islam is true. On the contrary, I know for a fact that Islam is false. You cannot read my mind. You don't know the unseen. You don't know what I hold in my mind, or as the Quran falsely points out, with the ignorant knowledge of science and the body that it had in the 7th century, in my heart. Within all of that, I know that Islam is false. If now I am wrong about this, then I guess I made a huge mistake, and that should be on Allah. I don't know. Or I'm stupid, and that is also his fault in the end. So I certainly do not know that Islam is true. On the contrary, I think Islam is false. You said you gave 7 points, 7 proofs for Islam's truth. I counted 8, to be honest, here. Number 1, it's all the same message. I don't really care if it's all the same message, because I don't believe that there is a God, and I don't believe that the prophets are messengers. I believe that they are basically just seekers and philosophers in their time. But I would disagree that the message is the same. I think that Muhammad had a very different message from what Jesus told people and from what the other prophets told people. Islam is very detached from Abrahamic religion and tradition, contains a lot of things that completely deviate from Abrahamic religion. If you ask a Jew to convert to Islam, the Jew would probably ask you why. You would tell the Jew, well, so that you believe in the one God and go to heaven. The Jew will say, I already do believe in one God. So what's the problem? Well, you also have to ask the Jew to believe in the Quran and to acknowledge Muhammad, the prophet, in order to go to heaven, which is a very strange thing, because the purpose of religion, of belief in one God, is supposed to be worshipping one God and then going to heaven. Apparently that's not sufficient. Believing in the one God, the correct God, according to the Quran itself, which the Jews believe in, is not sufficient. You are also supposed to acknowledge the demigod Muhammad, which is a ridiculous expectation to have. Number 2, you said that the Quran is entirely unchanged. You can't really know that. You can't prove that, because you cannot at all give me evidence, give me certain concrete evidence to show that the Quran which you hold in your hand today is the exact same Quran that Muhammad recited to his companions. It's impossible for you to do that. Nobody can possibly do that. The scholars themselves will admit that. All you can do is, by inference and by your best guesses, assume that the Qurans that you have right now are indeed the one that Muhammad's companions memorized and wrote down and then compiled. And if it is then unchanged, so what? If Muhammad made up a lot of stuff that a 7th century man makes up in a desert and then tells his friends, and they then jot it down or memorize it and compile it into a book, then I don't care if it's perfectly preserved or not. If it's garbage at the beginning, it will be garbage in the end. Number 3, you said that the Quran encourages thinking. I think that is a ridiculous claim to make. The Quran says, do they not ponder how Allah created the heavens and the earths and this and that? The Quran doesn't encourage you to think. think. It encourages you to believe that its message is true. And when it says, don't you think, it basically insults you and belittles your intelligence. When I tell you, hey, I know what's best for you when I beat you up, why don't you believe me? Why don't you use your mind? I'm not encouraging you to think. I'm encouraging you to submit and to obey, which is what Islam is. Islam intimidates you and therefore says, why don't you use your mind? Number 4, you said the Quran is scientific truth. Now, I made a list of scientific mistakes that the Quran contains, which are that the Quran says that stars are missiles thrown at rebellious devils who sneak up to listen to Allah's high assembly between the angels, and when one of them is seen, then the angels quickly throw the missiles, the stars at them, and those stars then chase them. And in the hadith, we indeed see very clearly that Muhammad affirms that a shooting star, which is not a star, a shooting star is a meteor, that a shooting star is one of those stars that are thrown at devils when they try to sneak up there and snatch knowledge from Allah. That is the Quran. It says that the sun has a resting place that it goes to, that it sinks into a muddy spring, that the moon follows the sun, that the moon will lose its light one day, that the sun will, I don't know, soon the sun and the moon will join one day, that they can't overtake each other, that the night and the sun and the day, night, sun and moon are 4 separate entities that just revolve around the earth and so on. But you gave certain proofs, certain scientific truths from the Quran. Let's look at those. That there is a barrier between seas. You made it look like the Quran says that there are two seas which do not mix, like 2 oceans that do not mix, and that we only found out today that this is a fact. The Quran doesn't say that, however. Even in the citations that you gave, the Quran actually says, if you look at Quran chapter 23, verse 53 and 54, for example, it says that Allah gave power over 2 seas, one of them saltish and bitter, one of them palatable and sweet, and has set a bar between those, forbidding those two to mix into each other. So it is actually talking about sweet water and salt water. Is this something that we have just found out, that those 2 waters are separate and they don't mix? No, absolutely not. That is a knowledge that has been around forever. It has been on the tongue of folk writings and poems that, you are like the sweet water separate from the salt water, for example. It is from an ancient poem from ancient Greece. That is because if you go to the sea, you will taste the seawater, and it will be salty and impossible to drink. But you will also see that that the seawater mixes with a giant, with a river, with a major river, which somehow is sweet and beautiful to drink. And it is a fact, a known fact, that those 2 things do not mix. When you then say Allah created sweet water and salt water and made them separate and they don't mix, that is not a miraculous observation. It is an observation that a stupid person in 3000 BC can clearly make without any scientific proofs at all. Those waters do mix, by the way. All they do is that they preserve the qualities on either side, because that's how it works. You can find a scientific article for that to understand why that happens. I'm not going to explain that. Expansion of the heaven, that is unfortunately complete nonsense. The Quran says that Allah created the heaven and built it in such a way that it doesn't fall down on us, and holds it up without pillars that you can see, and He expanded it. He expanded the heaven. The Quran cannot refer to a universe, because Muslims didn't even know what a universe is until the 20th century. The Quran only says that Allah built the sky, the sama, which is the sky. The sama ad-dunya is the sky of the heaven, the lowest heaven. Allah built that and widened it. It also says in the same context that Allah built the earth and then spread it as a bed so that you and I can walk on it. And then He placed mountains onto it. You say that this is a scientific truth as well, that Allah places mountains onto it so it doesn't shake, which is strange, because mountains don't have such a function, that mountains unanimously prevent earthquakes or prevent the earth from shaking. It doesn't make any sense. You cannot verify that with any scientific evidence. You say that some mountains have pegs. Not all mountains have that. Some mountains have pegs, and they're not really pegs. They are merely a crust that goes underneath the mountain, because mountains are the earth that we walk on, which push against each other and then elevate or go under each other and then deform, which forms a mountain. Mountains are not placed onto the earth by Allah from above. They are the earth that we walk on, which moves and shapes in different ways. I shared a kid's article recently when I debated the same topic with Nader Ahmed, just for him to read that. You said that Muhammad was known as trustworthy, apparently, allegedly so, but according to the Quran, Muhammad was also frequently accused of being a liar, of being crazy, of making things up, of taking stories from the past, and so on. It's not what I'm saying. That's what the Quran is saying. The Quran repeatedly says, and they say the messenger is a liar. You are not a liar, and so on. You said Muhammad is mentioned in the Old Testament and in the New Testament, which is objectively false. In John, it talks about a comforter. The comforter is somebody who is sent in the name of Jesus to talk to the people. Is Muhammad sent in the name of Jesus? Is Jesus the one who sends Muhammad? No. You said the moon splitting was witnessed, which is ridiculous. The moon splitting was not seen by anybody. There is no single record from the world about a moon splitting that happened. Another Muslim apologist said that is because people were asleep at night, which is very funny. And finally, you said the truth is singular. I just have no idea what to do with that one. Islam tells us ridiculous things, such as that flying horses are there, weird beings will invade the world and slaughter humanity and drink lakes dry. I don't know, the sun goes to a resting place at night and one day will literally go where it came from and rise from the west, and so on. There is nothing miraculous about this. Muhammad's prophecies were ramblings of a strange person, of an ignorant individual in the 7th century. There is nothing good about it. Islam is false. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that opening statement as well, Apostate Prophet. And we're going to jump into open conversation. Want to let you know about some juicy upcoming things here at Modern Day Debate. In particular, if you have not noticed, our banner has changed. We're going to include not just debates and discussions. We're going to start putting on a lot more panels. So 3 or 4 people talking about religion or politics or science. That's coming up on Modern Day Debate. We're excited to get into that, kind of bring in a new type of content, keep things fresh. But with that, we're going to jump into this open conversation. Apostate Prophet and Mango, the floor is all yours.
Awesome. So AP, you mentioned that, you don't believe in Islam. You said that, for a fact that you don't believe. But, that's not true. If I looked up into the sky and observed the sky to be blue and then came back to you and said the sky is purple, am I being dishonest?
I'm sorry. You know for a fact that you are an idiot. Don't tell me that you don't know it. Don't tell me that that's not true. You know for a fact that you are an idiot. If you say that's not what you know or what you think, then I'm sorry. You're just lying to me. You know deep inside in your heart that you are an idiot, right?
No, but you do know the truth. You were exposed to the truth. You even admitted in your previous videos that you were someone who was a devout worshiper of God. And how does a devout worshiper of God come to the conclusion that God does not exist? That does not happen. There had to be. But do you understand why I just some intervention involved? There had to be some inner conflict involved in that. You can't go from a devout worshiper to an atheist. That doesn't happen in the history of humanity.
Do you understand why I just asked you? Why I just gave you the response of, that you are stupid. I wasn't literally saying that you are an idiot, but I was just making a comparison. Do you understand why I was making that comparison?
No, I think it's a silly comparison. What I said about the sky being blue and coming back to you and telling you that the sky is purple, but both of us, when we look at the sky, we can tell it's blue.
Sure, but you can't know that Islam is true. That is a completely different thing.
You and I know it's the truth. And you're
No,
coming
we
back to
don't.
me, and you're coming back to me, and you're telling me that the sky is purple. You're
That's
telling me that
well. Here is
No, it's the
there is a very simple difference. A very simple difference. The sky is blue. Blue is what this color that we define the sky and many other objects such as the water and this and that by. We'll see from the eyes, the experiences from many people in the world, from all the people in the world, and from photos and whatever it is from scientific analysis, that the sky is indeed blue. There is no denying that. If you deny that, then you are probably trying to trick people, or you're lying to yourself, or you're colorblind, or you are blind, or there's something else going on here. We know for a fact that the sky is blue. It is objectively verifiable. Is the same true for Islam? No, it's not. If it was, if you could bring us scientific evidence which can show to us that Islam is definitely true, then that would be an accurate comparison. In any other case, which is the case here, this is simply an absurd comparison.
It's not an absurd comparison.
Okay,
It's
where's your
not.
scientific evidence that Islam is true?
I gave you 7 evidences to suggest that Islam is true. You just ignored them all.
Yeah, well, I
refused.
denied them. I refuted them. That's what I did.
You did not refute them. These are objective truths, and you just deny. You just don't want to accept it, and that's
Okay.
okay.
Let's go into them, right? So you said that that the Quran says that the universe expands. Do you think that that is a scientific truth and a proof for the truthfulness of Islam? What do you say about my refutation that the Quran explicitly and clearly says, word for word, that Allah is the expander of the sky? He is the one who holds it up and expands it, which is nothing that has to refer to an expansion of the universe. What do you say about this refutation?
It does. Because commonly, human beings, when we refer to the heavens, we usually refer to things that are outside of Earth, right? The stars, the other planets, the solar system. That's what we refer to when we talk about heaven. So it is talking about the universe.
Okay, I can easily refute that by bringing you
No,
a very
you
simple
can't.
example. By bringing you a very
can't.
simple example, the Quran says, "And look at the sky. Do you see a crack in it?" What do you think that means?
It doesn't mean, it's not a literal statement. It's a figure of speech. It's talking about, look at the sky, look how perfect it is. Because every human being will have had experience to this.
Okay, how do you
Well,
look?
Let me finish. When you look up into the sky, you just, you're blown away at how vast and deep and, beautiful it is. And that's what it's talking about. It's talking about the magnificence of this creation. It's talking about how perfect this creation is. It's not talking about a dome or glass that has a crack in it. It's talking about how amazing the universe is. And the Quran is not only a book about God, it's a scientific book as well. And that is what it's about.
Okay, so the Quran clearly says, "Look at the sky. Do you see a crack in it?" It says, "Look at the sky." It says, "Allah established the sky above the earth. He made it a ceiling." It says, "Allah is holding the sky up with pillars that you cannot see, or without pillars that you can see." This clearly refers
That's not true.
to a sky. What do you mean it's not true? I can give you the Quran verse directly here, which says those things. If you want to, yeah, I'll show you in a second.
Because those aren't literal statements.
Okay.
Those are statements that describe, the metaphysical. The scientific community hasn't been able to describe the metaphysical. If we were able to actually look at the structure of our universe from the perspective of God, we would find that there are actually pillars that are actually holding up the sky. We just haven't been able to find that out yet. Hopefully in the near future, we would come back to that conclusion and we'll look back and go, "Oh my God, look at that! There's actually pillars holding up the sky." It doesn't mean literal pillars. It could mean microscopic atoms that that form together, that hold the sky up. We don't know. Okay.
Okay, but it is, that's not the point, right? The point is not the pillar. The point is that it is describing the sky as the thing that is being held up by Allah, so it doesn't fall down on us. He prevents it from falling down on us. And if you have such an expectation that we will find these pillars or something, I'm just wondering, what exactly do you think is the purpose of those pillars? Because the way the Quran describes the sky, it describes it as a ceiling that Allah built above us, which must be held up. Otherwise, it would fall down on us, and Allah prevents it from falling down. The sky is not such a thing, however. It is not an object. It is merely what you see. It doesn't need to be held up. It wouldn't fall down on us if it wasn't held up.
It's really simple. Is there a space between the very peak of the highest level of the sky and the ground? Is there a space between us and the sky? Yes or no?
What is the highest space?
Is there a space?
You are asking a question that doesn't make any sense. What is the highest place of the sky?
I don't know. When you're like
the sky doesn't.
It's a simple question.
It's not a simple question. It's not a simple question. You can't.
Someone who's on the ground and someone who's up there in the sky. Is there a space between them?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Right. So if you're in a room, there's space between the ground, the room that you're in, and the ceiling. Yes or no?
Yeah, sure.
And how is the ceiling being held up?
By the building, by the elements of the building that hold it up. Okay.
Exactly.
And
exactly.
Does the sky need such a thing as well? Would it otherwise fall down on us? No, it wouldn't.
Yeah.
No, it wouldn't.
Yeah.
No, it wouldn't.
It would scientifically, yes.
Scientifically not.
There needs to be a reason why there's so much space between the ground and the highest whatever the atmosphere.
Okay, apparently you don't understand how the sky works and what the sky actually is. The sky doesn't exist. There is no object called the sky. What you see as the sky above us is what you look at and perceive. It is what you see as the firmament above us, because of the change of colors and tones due to the atmosphere that exists above us. Is there a place in the sky that you can crush into and then fall back down? No, it is all air. It is held. It is, on the contrary, it is held together. It is not held up there. It is held together. If it wasn't held together by the earth, it would just disperse and go away. It wouldn't fall down on.
That's not true. It
is true.
Because when someone is in space, there is no gravity. But when you immediately enter the Earth's atmosphere, there is gravity. That barrier. That's the sky.
Okay. I'm sorry, there's nothing that can fall down, though, so it's kind of a weird suggestion to make. But you wanted to ask for proof. So Quran chapter 67, verse 3 says, He created the heavens in 7 layers. Look at the sky. Do you see any breaks? Sky.
Exactly.
It says in 21, give me a second. It says in 21, verse 32, it says, we made the sky a protected ceiling, but they are turning away from its signs. Is it a ceiling? No, it's not. It says, He who made for you the earth a bed and the sky a ceiling, and He sent down from the sky rain. It then says in chapter 31, verse 10, it says, He created the heavens without pillars that you see. And finally, in chapter 13, verse 2, it says, It is Allah who raised the heavens without pillars. He established Himself above them, and He made subject the sun and the moon. So is there such a thing that took place? No, there is not.
Yes.
The sky is not held up. It's not falling down on us. There's no
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So you mentioned that there are seven layers, right?
Yeah.
In science, the atmosphere is divided into 7. You have, the 7 layers of atmosphere, moving upward from ground level, right? These are called like the troposphere, the stratosphere, the mesosphere, the thermosphere, and the exosphere. Mm-hmm. And then it gradually fades away as you sort of get into the realm of interplanetary space. And so that to me affirms what the Quran says about the several layers of the heaven. So,
can I ask you to read a Quran verse?
Sure.
Quran chapter 41, verse 12.
Okay, so he formed the heaven into 7 heavens in 2 days, assisting to each its mandate, and we adorned the lowest heaven with stars like lamps for beauty and for protection. That is the design of the Almighty Allah.
Exactly. So
What's your point?
what does the Quran say? It adorned. He adorned the lowest heaven, the nearest heaven, with stars. Now you described to me that the 7 layers in the Quran refer to the 7 layers of atmosphere, which is not even an accurate description. So, but the Quran says here that Allah placed into the lowest heaven the stars. Where are the stars? Are they in the lowest atmosphere?
No, clearly this is describing a different. This is an entirely different context. This is talking about, the metaphysical heaven, the heaven that we're not able to actually observe. It's talking about, the different, it's talking about a heaven that can only be observed if you were dead.
Okay, I think this debate is over. James, what do you think?
We can go into the Q&A if you guys would like, unless you guys have any last arguments you want to mull over.
I think I'm done.
Mango, anything?
Yeah, we could go into Q&A. I wanted to touch on actually like destiny and free choice. I know you've talked about that a lot in the past.
Yeah.
That's not super related to the topic, so I do want to jump into the Q&A. We're going to jump into this question and answer session. If you happen to have questions, folks, fire them into the old live chat. Same thing as always. If you ask a super chat, we put those at the top of the list. Otherwise, you can tag me with @ModernDayDebate as well. This one coming in from Barry. Barry says, AP Mango says that you know that Islam is true and that you're lying about it. Why bother debating against someone so inherently dishonest?
Well, I don't think he's dishonest. I think that he's just lying to himself, thinking that I actually know that Islam is true, which is why I'm, which is why I'm denying it and all that. He lies to himself for the comfort. I would not accuse him of being dishonest to me, but rather I would pity him for being dishonest to himself.
This one coming in from Space is a Lie says, does the ocean need pillars to keep its form?
No, it does not. It does not need pillars.
You got it.
There you go.
That appears to be, folks, if you have any other last questions, that appears all we have. So do let me know. I'm keeping an eye on the live chat. I'll give you about 60 seconds to get in any last questions. In the meantime, I want to let you know, folks, our guests are linked in the description. So if you would like to hear more from our guests, namely Apostate Prophet and Mango T, you certainly can by clicking on their links down in the description box. And that includes if you're listening to this debate via the podcast, as all of our debates end up on the Modern Day Debate podcast, available at fine podcast apps everywhere within 24 hours of the debate.
So anyone, if you have questions, make a super chat, ask a question. We will be happy to answer those. Sorry for ending it so abruptly. You can blame that on me.
This one, let's see. Coming in from Deliberation, under ideal conditions, says, for Mango, why did Muhammad have sex with Aisha when she was 9 years old?
I think because she demonstrated maturity and she.
That's good enough. Next one. BS. Thank you very much for your question.
Can I give my opinion to that, or
if you'd like?
Yeah. So the idea that a 9-year-old girl, so he married her when she was 6 years old, or he engaged to her and then consummated the marriage, meaning had sex with her and took her to bed when she was 9 years old. If you're suggesting that somebody who's 9 years old, a girl who is 9 years old is mature, is ready for that, that is simply horrible. She's neither physically ready, meaning sexually ready, nor is she mentally ready for that. If you think you would allow your 9-year-old daughter to go and, I will put it as, PC as I can, unite in marriage with a 55-year-old man, then you should be locked up.
This one
Look,
coming in from...
I just want to say one thing. I'm actually open for you to change my mind. I'm happy to leave Islam right here, right now, if you can give me clear evidence to suggest that Islam is a lie.
Nah, I don't think I care that much, honestly.
This one from BM says, question to Mango, how much time did Solomon keep standing after his death?
I have no idea. I'm not a historian.
This one coming in from, I'm not sure if Nikki, thanks for your question and your super chat. Nikki, who did you mean this for? You guys can let me know if you know who it might be for. Would you debate a former imam who is now a follower of Jesus Christ? Can't tell.
I guess it is for Mango.
That's what I'm guessing too.
Yeah, sure. Happy to do that.
Gotcha. That appears. Oh, maybe one last one. 100111100 says, for AP, does Muhammad's revelation cohere with previous revelations that he claims are true?
I don't understand the question.
I think they might mean what Mango claims are true. In terms,
I mean, here's the thing with Muhammad's prophecies and revelations, whatever you want to call it. So the revelations are the Quran versus Quran revelations, or the Quran signs as they are known. The prophecies are the prophecies that are recorded and attributed to him through collections of reports known as hadiths. He made a lot of hadith. People can be very selective and pick whatever they want out of those and say, this will happen sometime, this happened in his time, and so on. If you look at the entirety of those prophecies, most of them have nothing to do with the messages that came before him, meaning with Abrahamic tradition. If you look at the revelations of the Quran, most of that is entirely disconnected from the spirit of previous religions and tradition. The prophecies that he made about the future are a failure when you look at them. He in fact said, for example, when asked when will the hour be, which means when will the day of judgment, the last hour be, he said before this boy in his presence gets too old, the hour will be established. He was clearly saying that the hour will happen when before this boy gets very old. He clearly said that, and now you have to jump around and reinterpret what he actually meant by saying that, and so on. And he's full of such prophecies, which just prove that he was not a true prophet.
Can I just say that that's not true at all? He didn't say that the last day would come when this boy would get old. That's not true at all.
What did he say then?
He's referring to the day of resurrection that we all face, which is death.
Mm-hmm. So let me read here clearly from a few sources here. Sahih Muslim 2953b. When a boy came and said, when would the last hour come? Thereupon Allah's messenger kept quiet for a while, then looked at a young boy in his presence belonging to the tribe of Al-Shanwar, and he said, if this boy lives, he would not grow very old till the last hour would come to you. What is translated here as the last hour is literally just Sa'at, which means the hour. And that unanimously throughout the entire hadith collection, whenever it is mentioned, only exclusively 100% refers to the hour. The question that these people have asked clearly and explicitly refers to the hour. The only way for you to come and say he actually meant something else is reinterpretation, and that is a very desperate move.
That's not true, because he clearly says he doesn't know when the hour will be.
Well, I never said Muhammad was consistent, so that's the issue.
This one coming in from, do appreciate your question, Wizard of Frabaz says, does Mango T know any 9-year-olds that are mature enough in his view? There is a correct answer to this, Mango T, if you don't want the FBI calling you or showing up at your home. We don't have to talk about that one. Let's see. We're just going to move past that one. Daniel says, AP, If this channel is not here tomorrow, you'll know why. Daniel says, AP is doing God's work. Please excuse the irony. Sounds like you have a fan out there, AP.
Thank you.
Also coming in from Deliberation under ideal conditions. Appreciate it. Says, for Mango, why does the Quran forward incorrect descriptions of fetal development involving a clot of blood slowly turning into a clump of flesh?
The Quran is scientifically accurate, and it clearly shows the development process that a fetus passes through. Yes, semen does come from ribs. It's been scientifically proven. And I can give you sources to that. I can demonstrate to you that that's where semen originates from. In fact, if you look at the origin story of humanity, Adam, his wife, came from his side of his rib, which basically means that semen came from the side of the rib. That means semen comes from rib.
This one coming in from, do appreciate your question. Cool Servant Jesus Swag says, did Allah make man out of nothing, Surah 1967, or did Allah make man out of clay, Surah 1526?
So obviously we all come from nothing, and then, we're made out of clay. So hopefully that answers your question.
This one, coming in from Deliberation under ideal conditions, says, for Mango, why does the Quran forward incorrect descriptions? Gotcha. We talked about that. Sorry about that. This one coming in from Sorgu says, well, this one, Bilali Ali says, for Mango, is the earth flat?
Yes.
By the way, is that
the earth is flat.
Okay, you have to be trolling. This can't be real.
No, like it says in the Quran that the earth is flat, so I believe that the earth is flat.
Is that true?
In what sense is the earth flat?
We can't feel any movements.
Does the Quran mention anything about the shape of the earth?
Yeah, it says that the earth is Allah made the earth spread like a flat bed or whatever it is. Didn't you tell me earlier that Did you tell me that the Quran affirms the Big Bang because it says that Allah expanded the heaven, which according to you means Allah expands the universe?
Well, the earth is Allah's footstool, and we don't expand, but the things that are above us do. Everything that's above us, the heaven expands, but we sit on a flat bread or flatbed, and there's invisible pillars holding up the sky. I'm sorry, but like we don't expand. Everything above us expands.
Hmm.
It clearly says that, and science says that as well.
Okay.
This one coming in from Hake. Thanks for your super sticker. Appreciate it. As well as question from Greenpeace 1 says, how does Islam know about gravity and E equals MC squared?
Is that a question for me?
I think so.
Look, I'm not a scientist, but I think those like the gravity and E equals MC squared, I think those are entirely appropriate, and they fit in with the narrative that the Quran has. And I don't see how gravity or E equals MC squared has any objections to the Quran at all. I think in fact it reaffirms the Quran.
This one coming in from Minecraft Player says, how can Islam be real if our eyes aren't real?
That's a good question. I'll have to think about that.
Gotcha.
Mago, are you a troll?
No. No.
Unless
Nothing
you're
makes
a
sense.
recent convert, as in if you converted to Islam in last week, we've had a ton of people in chat saying you're a troll, and I know that I specifically asked you if you actually believe in Islam when you emailed me because
I do.
don't allow debates where people are playing devil's advocate or trolling.
No, I am a Muslim. I can recite if you like.
Can you recite some verses or something?
Yeah, sure. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim Maliki Yawmiddin.
Go on.
Do you want me to continue?
Yeah.
But it's gonna take forever.
No, just go with the first. That wasn't the whole. That wasn't the whole surah, was it?
Are you a former Muslim and that's why you remember?
Can you recite
No.
the whole? Can you recite the whole Fatiha, the first one?
Yeah, sure. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim Maliki Yawmiddin Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in Ihdina as-siratal mustaqim siratal ladzina an'amta 'alaihim ghayril maghdubi 'alaihim waladdallin.
Okay. Anything else?
No.
Woody Woodpecker says, sending love to AP here for you, man. And we want to say, it is true in the future. Well, I mean, I will take your word for it just because unless you've been flagrantly lying this entire time, you're actually a Muslim. I do have to say, though, it is true. We've always avoided, well, technically, like 3 years ago, we had a devil's advocate debate, and we don't think that there's anything wrong with those. We are all for other channels that do them, but we just found they weren't our style. The audience just didn't like it. So we are very, like, that is important to us, that we actually want people debating. You could say we want them to have skin in the game. We want them to have a high stakes debate such that they're debating their own actual beliefs. And so that, just in case anybody is wondering about that. But want to say, our guests are linked in the description. If you want to hear more from either Apostate Prophet or Mango Tea, you certainly can. Their links are below. I'm going to be right back with a post-credit scene letting you know about upcoming debates. So stick around for that. And if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button as we have many more juicy debates, such as the one on the bottom right. But thank you, AP and Mango. It's been a true pleasure to have you guys here tonight.
Thank you so much, James. Thank you, Mango, and stay away from Islam.
Come back to Islam.
We'll be back. I'll be back in just a moment. Ladies and gentlemen, I am thrilled. Oh, let me just open back this happy little Zoom window. My dear friends, want to let you know first, thank you guys so much for your support. Appreciate that. And thank you guys for all of your likes. We already had 112 likes. That's actually pretty good for this early into a debate, or though we maybe wrapped up a little bit early tonight. I want to say, let me just rearrange these here in the old OBS. I want to say thank you guys for your support of Modern Day Debate. We are excited about the future. We're working on some big stuff. But first, before I tell you about this big stuff that we're working on, such as these big panels that we've been talking about, some of them will be in person, and they're going to be epic. So a lot like if you've ever seen Jubilee has their Middle Ground series, it's going to be a lot like that. We're going to occasionally have in-person panels that are really professionally done, like very well shot in terms of camera, lighting, audio. It is going to be amazing. So we're really excited about that, among other things. But I want to say hi to you in the old live chat before I go on. Rara Wellum, glad to have you with us, as well as Saint May says, why am I getting the sense that this will get deleted? Yeah, I'm tempted to. It crossed my mind already. And Emra Demir, thanks for coming by, as well as Cole Merchant, glad you were here. Felor Masalan, glad you came by. F the Fed Maine, glad to have you back, as well as the Christian Metalhead, glad to see you again. Axel Foley, glad to have you with us. Tahu14, glad you're here. As well as, thanks, Nikki, for your support. Appreciated that super chat earlier, and good to see you there in the old live chat. Abaddon Hajidari, Hajdari, thank you for being with us. And Smith, glad to have you back. As well as WLZXX says, how excited are you about the future? I am very excited. I've got to tell you guys, we've got some in-person panels that seriously, I think that these might be some really epic debates / panels that we upload. You'll see. Vigilant Clips, glad to have you with us. Guru Jai, is it Guru Jai or Guru Ji? Let me know. We're glad you were with us. And Sideshow Nav says, thanks for the debate. Appreciate your support. And Brooke Sparrow says, thanks, everyone. Appreciate your support. Brooke Coffee Mom says, thanks for the charm. Appreciate your kind words. Aiden Casaro, thanks for being with us, as well as Truth Defenders. Shalom. I'm late. Start over. Happy to have you with us. Glad you made it. Trinity Matrix, glad you are here. Greenpeace One, thanks for dropping in. And we've got to tell you, folks, we really do want high-quality Muslim debaters. And we also, thanks Daniel for your kind words. I see you there in the old live chat. But we do also want to be sure that we always have people who actually believe what they say that they're believing or debating. And that's very important to us. So I admit, it is, Mango does strike me as perhaps not a Muslim. And so that's something that, even though that's a difficulty for me over email, where I kind of said, hey, and are you actually like a Muslim? And the reason being is Muslim debaters are kind of rare to come by. And so I want to make sure that they're not devil's advocate type debates. We've never had anybody come on here to be a troll that I know of. Actually, I've been told one time I was told we had. But we are looking for serious debaters, and we really do want to make sure that they actually believe what they are debating on. Because people want it to be high stakes. It's more enjoyable when it's actually people debating on things that they believe in. Arguments that they say, no, I really think that these arguments are sound, and I'm willing to kind of put them forward and let them be stood stand against critique. But want to say, good to have you with us. Sorgu Vasfen, glad you're here. And thanks for coming by. Avalanche of Apostasy, happy to have you. And I've got to tell you, if you happen to know people, like maybe you're like, hey, I know of a Muslim who would want to come on. Like I said, Muslim debaters are actually kind of rare. There are not a lot of Muslim debaters compared to Christian debaters. That's partly because, as you guys know, my background, I've got a lot of Christian friends. Being a Christian myself, like I know a lot of Christians, as well as I know a lot of atheist friends too. So for me, I've got a huge, you could say, network of Christian and atheist friends that I've gone to grad school with or wherever else that I've just become friends with over the years. But I don't know a lot of Muslims, to be honest. And everyone, I think, is pretty, everybody enjoys watching Daniel Hakikachu debate. And so we want to get as high a quality of speakers as we can. Daniel's a very strong debater, and obviously Daniel is not a troll or anything like that. So if you do know of Muslim debaters who want to debate, I'm at moderndaydebate@gmail.com. It's that easy to remember, moderndaydebate@gmail.com. If you know of Muslims who are wanting to debate, I just put that in the chat, and I'll pin it as well. That way it's convenient. John Doe, glad to have you here. I see you in the old live chat. Tahu14, thanks for coming by. And yeah, sometimes people even accuse us of like, oh, James, you purposely try to have bad Muslim debaters, which, by the way, is like, the strange thing is this very insulting statement usually comes from Muslims. And I'm like, geez, like it's so cannibalistic. It's just willing to throw other Muslims under the bus. But that's on Twitter. I get that a lot. And I'm like, well, why? If I want to have a premier debate channel where we have epic debates, why would I look for crappy debaters to come on? That doesn't even make any sense. They're like, well, you're biased. It's like, I've never gotten accused by atheists of being biased in terms of like, oh, James is trying to handpick bad atheist debaters or something like that. But Muslim people on, not all, I don't want to generalize, but some Muslim people on Twitter really do say that. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Let's see. Land Cruiser guy says that Mango Tea is not a Muslim and says that there's a super chat from the past that demonstrates this. Thanks for letting me know. And then Andrew Kroll, good to see you here. And so, yeah, apparently we can't trust Mango Tea because it's true. I don't want to have any sort of trolls because I want to have serious debates. And so I'm not pissed, but frankly, I'm not going to have mango tea on again. Prince Christian, thanks for coming by. Says, how's everything at home, James? God bless you. Thank you for your kind words. I appreciate that. It means more than you know. My family's doing okay. As you, maybe if you're referring to like what the news of earlier this month, my mom passed away. So it's been a really hard time for everybody. I'm like, what's the word I'm looking for? I think my family is doing okay. Like they're doing all right, all things considered. And so thank you for asking, and I appreciate that. Thanks for everybody's love and support. You guys have been super supportive, and thanks, Apostate Prophet. Thanks for your super chat. Says Muslim apologist. Let's see. I don't want to read this one. Muslims aren't here to defend themselves. Says, let's see. He says, prove me wrong. Come and debate Muslims, and that's true. Like, folks, if there are strong, like I'm telling you, if there. So, for example, like I've heard of Hamza's Den. And I reached out to him. I had not heard back. And I've reached out to other Muslims like Hijab, Muhammad Hijab. Am I saying that right? I'm sorry, guys. It's just late and I'm tired. Muhammad Hijab. Yeah, that's his name. And he had said he's willing to if it's in person. And it's like, well, it's not easy for us to host in-person debates. It's pretty expensive. Like hotel rooms for speakers, flights for speakers. The venue is the most expensive thing, like basically booking out a ballroom. It's really exhausting and it's really expensive. So we don't do that all the time. That's something that's like special. So I'm not trying to give flack to Hijab, but it's just kind of like puts us in a tough spot if someone's only willing to debate in person. FF or F off says, let's see. Well, glad to have you here. I can't read what you said, but let's see. Yeah, this one I'm a little bit nervous about, that conversation about Aisha too. That made me a little bit we might, maybe just delete this. But yeah, unfortunately, I know that some of you are going to be really sad that we won't have Mango back on, because I hate, I know, and he wouldn't even admit it after we got off of the live stream, even after we went off air. He still would not say that. He still was saying he was a Muslim. So I hate saying I hate saying that we're not going to have him, because he still hasn't confessed it, but I just don't believe it anymore. I was willing to give him the benefit of the doubt, but because like I said, but anyway. XXWLZXX says, James, will you ever feature Christian Prince? I love his debates. Please try and get him on. By the way, great work as usual. Thank you for your kind words. That means a lot, seriously. And then, let's see. I am totally happy to have him on. So, like, totally let me know if he's got interest, and I'm open to it. And thanks, Asri. Schizophrenia says, condolences, James. Love. Thank you for your kind words. Avalanche of Apostasy says, God bless your mom. I appreciate your kind words. And Smith says, so sorry to hear that. Thank you for your kind words. It really does mean a lot. It's always it's almost felt therapeutic when I've read through like kind words. It just feels like just genuine support. I appreciate it. Kimba94 says, hope you and your family are good, James. Wish you the best. Thanks for that. That means a lot. And they said, and my condolence. Thank you very much. That means a lot. It really does. And let's see. Thanks for the hearts as well, Smith. That means a lot. And then Nikki, thanks for your kind words. Says, seriously, God bless you and your family, James. I appreciate that. That really does mean a lot. And thanks, Tahu14 says, I'm so sorry to hear that. That means a lot, friend. I appreciate it. And yeah, thank you guys for all of your support. You guys have been super supportive. And just totally love you guys. Like, it's fun. I love being in these after shows. So I do enjoy getting to be here with you guys and just chat, catch up, talk about sweet stuff. HM, I see there in the old live chat. Thanks for being with us. We're glad you are here. And then let's see here. Jared A., thanks for coming by. Thanks for your channel membership support. We don't thank our members enough. Thank you guys for our being members of the channel. I don't know if you guys know, folks, we do have channel memberships. So I don't know if you guys knew that, but pretty cool. And it allows you to use these little, these based and red-pilled emoticons, such as the one I just put in chat that says soy boy. And we do always enjoy calling people soy boys and betas. And Akali Nahang, thanks for coming by. We're glad you're here. Dark says, I'm crying myself to sleep tonight. James, congrats. Thanks for your congrats. I don't know what it was about, other than I don't know if you're talking about this super exciting thing that I was going to talk, like that I was talking about. What, namely, we are considering doing in-person panels. So much like Middle Ground. Would you guys like that? Actually, let me know. Have you ever seen Middle Ground, like the Middle Ground series from Jubilee? We're seriously considering doing it, like our own version of it. And we are hoping to do it consistently. So that's exciting though. For real, we think that we're going to do them really well in terms of the editing. And so I think you guys will get a kick out of them. They're going to be entertaining. They're going to be attention holding. Like, I think you're going to really enjoy it. So I highly encourage you folks. I really think that these are going to be a huge help to Modern Day Debate. Probably do one a month. And I honestly, no joke, I kind of suspect they could be like a huge help, because I think that they have potential to get some major exposure on YouTube. And we are not ashamed of the fact that we want to grow in having our impact of providing a neutral platform so that everybody can make their case, whether they be atheist, Christian, Muslim, you name it, on a level playing field. That's important to us, and we are absolutely determined to carry out that vision. As well as, thank you very much for your kind words. Oliver Catwell, thanks for those emoticons. I appreciate that. Thanks for being a supporter of the channel, seriously. And thank you to our mods. Seriously, we really do appreciate you guys. That means more than you know. Being mods really does help. That makes you could say, the chat experience a lot more fun for people. And then Grick Silly Panda, thanks for coming by. Thanks for being a channel member, supporter. That really does mean more than you know. Iswal Banu, thanks for coming by. We are glad you are with us. And let's see here. Identity, thank you for being with us. Says Mango is not serious. I saw Mango in the chat just now. Mango, where did I see you, Mango? Mango was saying I am a Muslim. So, man. I'm gonna rest soon though. I'm pretty pooped. Apostate Prophet says, let's make a panel about Aisha. Okay. Shall we go to jail? You know what quote, what movie that quote's from? I think it's Shall We Go to Jail? Let me know if you recognize what that's from. I'll tell you. It's from Ace Ventura. I think it's from Pet Detective When Nature Calls. So that's the second one. Messianic Apostate, glad you are with us. I see you there in the old live chat. Glad to have you here. Dawa Lives, glad to have you here. As well as RB47, glad to have you. Mian Muaz Guahar, thanks for coming by. Says Hamza Tortis. Oh, that's right. I remember that name. I think I've actually reached out to them too. Let me double check though. Let's see. Oh, yeah. I think I know who Hamza is. Oh, yeah. I could have sworn. I think we triggered. No, maybe not. No, I don't think it's him. I take that back. I was wrong. It was another fellow who must have looked like him. I don't think we have triggered him, so I might have to reach out. So that's a possibility. I appreciate you letting me know that name, seriously. And then, let's see here. Thanks for your super chat from Dark. Says, leave Mango alone or else I'll cry, and you wouldn't want that. Good to know that. I'm not trying to pick on Mango. And BM says, get CP, please. Who's that again? Oh, Christian Prince. Some of you guys are obsessed with Christian Prince. I'm open to it. But he's a Christian, right? Or he's not a Muslim, right? Hi, Commander. I see you there in the old live chat. Glad to have you with us. As well as Caius Julius. Thanks for dropping in. And then... But yeah, I'm surprised, like, Hamza's Den, I had asked him and no response. I was like, hey, our channels are, like, kind of similar. Because they are in a way. Because I think he hosts debates, right? But what are you going to do? You can't please everybody. James119, thanks for coming by. We are glad you are here. As well as... I gotta go. I'm getting tired. But want to say thank you guys. Thank you all for your support. Thanks for your love. Appreciate everything. We're excited about the future of this channel. Seriously, we're planning big moves. Because remember, our goal by the end of the year, we're not ashamed about the fact that we want to grow our influence. We want our channel to grow because we think it's having an important positive impact. And that's why sometimes when people are like YouTubers, if they're like, oh, I don't care if my channel grows, it's like, don't you think what you're putting out is valuable? Like if you think it's got value to people, like I would hope you want it to grow. We are not ashamed about the fact that we do want to grow. We think it's good to have a neutral platform on YouTube that's going to give everybody a fair shot, that's going to moderate it fairly and all that good stuff. That's important to us. And so we are absolutely determined to fulfill that vision. And there are different things that we've had. And like I said, our goal is to hit 100,000 subscribers by the end of the year, to which a lot of you were like, James, I mean, I know you were saying that back in like January when you hit 60,000 and then we hit 70,000 in like mid-February. Like we were on a roll. So it was probably like March 1st, we hit 70,000. So it was kind of like, whoa, we're clocking in at 5,000 a month. But then it slowed down significantly. Don't worry. We are planning big moves because we are really determined. Like we're like, no, we're not letting go of that goal. We are actually just saying, okay, we've decided that's our goal. Now we've got to find ways to get there, even if our growth is slowed down. I'm still grateful because it's like maybe I think it was like 1,300 new subscribers in the last month. That's pretty good, actually. Like most channels would be quite happy, and that's probably our average. But we are absolutely determined. We're like, hey, we're going to do different things. We're going to try different stuff, and we are going to continue to strive after that goal of really trying to hit 100,000 subscribers by the end of the year. So I know if I were you, I would be thinking like, James, all right, come on, really? Like that's, you're 30,000 away from that. 30,000 subscribers in 6 months is like, James, it's getting kind of hard. Like we're determined. We are going to try our best. We're going to claw with our fingernails. It doesn't matter what it takes. We are going to be striving for that, and we are coming up with different plans to try to make that happen. So we are excited about that. W. Cameron, thanks for being with us. As did this guy say earlier that, let's see, that there's no gravity in space. I'll let you decide. Hi, Commander. Thanks for coming by. Says, James, you mentioned my name. You were a cool dude. Hi, Commander. I appreciate that. Thanks for your kind words. And then Brooke Sparrow says, smash that like button. I couldn't agree more, Brooke. Don't forget to smash that like button. And don't forget to share this debate. Because maybe you're like, James, I love these debates. And you probably have a friend who enjoys debates like this too, or topics like this. You can hit that share button down below in the description box, and you can actually share this debate with them. How neat is that? Because then you can also talk about future debates with them. Maybe, for example, the one that you can see at the bottom right of your screen, AP is taking on Muji, who is for sure a truly believing Muslim, not a troll. He is going to be on, and it is going to be amazing. That's going to be this Friday. So that's an example. I highly encourage you folks. We've got a lot of juicy debates coming up, so you can share, and I'm sure a lot of friends would be excited about it as well. Aravan Muriel says, are you going to keep the debate up, James? I don't know. The only reason that I'm not super sure about that is because that whole part about Aisha is like, I don't know. But Prince Christian says, Sam Shamoon versus Zakir. Thanks for letting me know about that. And Blake says, thank you for all you do. Thanks, Blake. That means a lot. And amazing. Akalai Nahang says, Mango is not a troll. I don't know, to be honest. I don't know for sure. But want to say thank you guys for your support. We look forward to seeing you tomorrow night. Let me show you this one at the bottom right of your screen. This one, let me pull it up. I almost got it. There it is. Tomorrow night, the far right on trial. Hake and Jangles collide on topics like LGBT, sex, and race. It is going to be controversial, you guys. You don't want to miss this one. It is going to be a high-profile, juicy debate tomorrow night. So, seriously, you guys, it's going to be a fun one. And I'll be hosting that one as well. So, I'm excited for it. It's going to be a lot of fun, and I'll see you guys then. Love you, and thanks for your support, you guys. Seriously, you make this fun. Keep sifting out the reasonable from the unreasonable, and we'll see you next time.